What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Survivor Now podcast. And it is Monday, which means we have to get to the latest castaway eliminated from Survivor UK. And believe me, I am as shocked as you are. We are joined by, I believe, the 8th runner-up of the season, Doug. Doug, how are we doing today?
How you doing, man? Yeah, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Good morning. I mean, it's good morning to me. Maybe a little bit past noon for you guys, I believe,
Yeah.
over there.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Man, I was shocked. I was absolutely jaw on the floor when they voted you out. I don't know if you've been watching our content at all,
Go.
but we have an analyst. His name's Matthew. He said all season he believed you were going to win the entire season as a whole. So this came as a huge shock. First off, I want to get your feelings watching it play back. You know, that's a whole thing in itself, watching yourself on television. So how did that feel to watch the elimination happen this past weekend?
Oh, Randy, they got me. They got me, dude.
They got you good, man. It was a good
Man.
blindside.
Oh, it was great, man. And what an experience, mate. It was amazing watching it. And I've absolutely loved your content across the podcast, man. It's been so
I
good listening
appreciate
and
it. Thank
seeing,
you.
mate. It's been so good. But what a ride. And yeah, what an episode. It's funny, Survivor is a hell of a game. And I guess 17 of the 18 contestants are going to feel disappointment. But mate, it was just so good. It was great TV, and kudos to those guys. A good Survivor move.
It's a vicious game. It's how
Oh
you
yeah.
have to vote out the ones that you trust. You have to lie. There has to be some deceit there. And I mean, you had a great attitude when you got eliminated. You stood up and you were just, you got me. So I see that attitude carrying on here. Like, well played. Were you a big Survivor fan going into the game? How much knowledge did you have going in?
Yeah, so I guess very much showing my age here, but I watched the very first UK season of Survivor. I think it was about 20 years ago. God, as a little kid. So I'd my Survivor journey, I guess, started in the early 2000s. But preparing for the show, I'm a huge fan of the Australian season. Shout out to my heroes, Matt Rogers and Sean Hampson. You guys are absolute legends. But yeah, man, it's funny how the game's evolved since those early days of UK Survivor to the strategic beast that it is in Australia, night and day. And what a show. It was a pleasure to be part of it, mate. Amazing stuff.
Got to go out there and live the dream. I have to get
Yeah.
to that tribal council. How confident were you going in that the plan that you had was going to work, which obviously was Chris doesn't win immunity. He's going to be the easy vote out here. We're going to send him packing right after Ashley. So how confident were you going into that tribal council?
Dude, I was confident. I was more confident that I didn't expect 5 votes to go into me. I thought I did enough with Nathan. I thought I did enough with Lalani to possibly steer them away from myself. Nathan is a big loyalty player. And I guess for keeping him in the game at Calaton, he might have maybe thrown me a bone once, potentially. And with Lalani, lovely person, but didn't really strike me as too strategic at that stage of the game. So I just didn't think I'd get the full 5. If I thought I was going to get the full 5, I would have got this. I would have got my expired idol and maybe swung it around my head and just said, "Look, guys, got an idol here. Don't even think about it."
That is incredible. That's the expired idol you're wearing around you. That's a big game move, Doug. You came prepared for the interviews today.
I know, dude. You know what I was thinking? I was going to plant it. I was going to think like, if I made it to 8, I was like, right, I can maybe plant this somewhere, and that'd be quite fun for somebody to find it and play it, and they say, well, it's expired. That'd be quite good fun, but no dice, unfortunately.
This was a fun hunt to watch on TV because what we saw, it was you and Pegleg looking for that idol, and you decide you find it and you just sit on it. So I mean, like, I know I'm a nervous person and I would be freaking out, being like, "Yo, Peg, how about you go look anywhere like miles away?" Walk us through that and like what was going through your head in that moment.
Oh man, that was hilarious. So yeah, I had a rough idea where an idol was going to be. And Peg just wanted to try and find one anyway. So I was like, okay, I'll come with you. We'll have a little look. I can to stop him from finding it, I guess. And then we were searching, high and low, and then sort of the corner of my eye, there was this little brown package just there on the ground in front of me. But sort of equidistant from that was Peg Leg, and he was walking towards it. So it was a very much case of putting my big butt and sort of blocking it. It was ridiculous. I can't believe that worked, But,
what was the closest Peg Leg got to you? Like when you're sitting there, like
dude,
he was standing right next to you, like talking?
Right next to it, man. Right next to it. It's very much a sort of sleight of hand, misdirection. I'd be a great magician. I'd be a great magician, pickpocket even.
Hey, maybe that's a Survivor nickname. Like everyone, like you brought up Sean, like he's the horse for Survivor Australia. Maybe we got the magician and Doug for Survivor UK.
I was called a Shire horse one time by Joel and that thing. So it could be that.
The Shire horse. That's pretty cool. Did Joel have any knowledge of your appreciation for Sean Hampson? That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So you were in an interesting spot in the game, in my opinion. We're gonna get to the tribe swap that happened with you and Peg Leg probably after this question. Yeah. But Chris and Ashley became huge targets, and this game was surrounded with the idea of tribe strong. Let's stay Lenina strong. Let's stay Calaton strong. And I felt like that wasn't really something you were thinking of. You were thinking about what's best for my game personally, because a lot of times we saw, especially late, Lenina got targeted post-merge with Lee going, followed by Ashley and Chris becoming massive targets. So where were you at in the game, and you're thinking of who you wanted to work with, and what led to Lenina kind of targeting each other rather than staying tribe strong and voting together?
Oh, it was disappointing. That was very much writing on the wall for my game. I'd worked so hard pre-merge, certainly during the swap, to try and come back with at least 2 Lenenins with myself and Peg. And then from there, you can really control the game. But when I arrived at the merged tribe, Kalena, it was chaos, and Lenena just split in half completely. And there was no way to repair it. It was very much... just lost the majority straight away. So kind of going into that sort of merged tribe, I sort of had to integrate with the Calatonians. I was on a Calatonian, I guess, coming into that tribe swap. Mm-hmm. I kind of threw Nathan a bone by saving him. I maybe could have kind of been a grey man and distance myself from old Lenina, potentially being my own sort of entity going forward in the tribe. Disappointed that Lenina sort of imploded, but that's Survivor, I guess.
It happens to the best of the alliances, the best of groups. And I feel like the game was a little bit difficult for you in a sense of you come back, and like you said, I left for a couple of days, guys, and everything has imploded in itself. But not only that, you did have to go through the tribe swap where you and Peg went to Calaton. You also lose, correct me if I'm wrong, you lost Ren around that time at that next tribals, what was your relationship with Ren like? Because to us, it seemed like you and Ren early on in the game, that was your closest ally. But who really was your closest ally out there on the island?
Yeah, so Ren was quite an important chess piece in my game, certainly at the beginning of Lenina. I knew, certainly in the early days of the tribe, I had a bit of control over how the sort of guys were going to vote. Lee, Chris and Peg Leg, I had a good idea of where their votes were going to go into tribal council. But I wasn't as sure as the other half of the tribe. So that's where Ren came in. So we were kind of operating across the tribe, trying to feed each other information on how the sort of guys and the girls were going to vote, and then we could try and run it from there. And then Fishgate happened.
Good old Fishgate.
And then Ren's game kind of imploded, and I couldn't save them. I just could not save them. So the best option for me is, well, I've got their idol in my bag. There's a tribe swap coming. I'm just going to jump ship and do my favorite drive, I guess.
All right. Well, we know how Doug plays now. If you get out there and you play with him, like if he's ready to jump ship first chance he gets. I mean, I was going to say it didn't work out for Ren's game, but you got a beautiful necklace out of it, which I mean, if you don't wear that thing around town all the time, you're a better person than I am.
It's not been off, man. It's not been off.
Did Pegleg at that point become your closest ally? Because that was something that I noticed. I said, I feel like Doug and Peg could go very far in this competition. I don't know how that changed once you guys came back together, because I didn't know if Pegleg went back to working with Lee. What was your relationship like with Pegleg? Because obviously you guys kind of had to work together when you went over to Calaton and somehow got them to flip on each other. That was masterful work, sir.
Yeah,
Wonderful
thank you very much. I was pleased with that. Certainly pre-merge and work at Calaton, I was very, very pleased with. And Peg was a very close ally of mine. You know, it was very important for me, certainly when we went to Calaton, I had to keep him in check. We had to vote as a double. I couldn't have him straying off and forming any sort of relationship with a Calatonian. We had to sort of operate it together, because that was key for me taking control of Calaton and dismantling from the inside. So yeah, we got really, really tight, and I knew he's also a loyalty player. So it would have been very difficult for him to put a vote onto me. So controlling his vote would ultimately be very effective in dismantling that sort of OG Calaton network, I guess.
I mean, did it really hit you once you see Jess out the door, then you see Shy out the door? Did it ever hit you, man, Doug, you're playing the game really well right now?
Dude, you know, I did have a really good, certainly pre-merge game. I was very, very pleased with the way it was working, and all it takes is a few conversations to make things happen. Arriving at Calaton, you just need to find a crack. You need to find someone at the bottom who is willing to make a move. Sell yourself as a mercenary or a gun for hire. You know, me and Peg are 2 votes.
Yeah,
we have nowhere to go. And then once that vote's done, you're then in the driver's seat and you're in complete control of what happens next.
Hire us as your henchmen, to say, like, you get 2 of us to work with you.
There you go. And then what that ultimately does is puts you on the back foot, because you're then subconsciously in control. You can either send home Shy or Lawrence or Nathan. Yeah, very effective. Worked very well.
Well, that was going to be my final question about that whole situation. The swap that happened is, it looked like you and Peg were going to work with Lawrence and Shy. That was going to be, you know, a group that goes together until the merge, or who knows how long you guys would have worked together. Because Shy and Lawrence had saved you guys. So it just thought, okay, they're going to pay him back. You guys you and Peg flip the very next tribal council and send Shy home. What happened there? Because I was like, I thought Shy would get at least more than 1 vote out of you. What made you keep Nathan around rather than a Shy?
Yeah, this is a big decision. And there was so many variables. Now, we didn't know there was a merge coming up. I thought merging at 11 players, it seemed quite odd to me. I thought merging at 10 made a bit more sense. Mm-hmm. So I thought we'd have another round of tribal voting. And I didn't want to go into that round with a 2-2. I wanted to go in with a sort of a 3-1, or maybe at least a 2-1-1 going into that. That was the safest way, because I thought there was going to be another round of tribal voting, just based on 11-player merge. It didn't really make sense.
Yeah. If you think about the numbers and everything.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me. And I would have still had a Lenena majority going into that merge regardless, you know, if the old Lenenans kept to their word and remained strong. So it was a tough decision, but I do stand by it at that time, because I really didn't want to risk a 2-2 with me and Peg versus Nathan and Lawrence. That could have thrown up a lot of uncertainties, could have been quite messy, and I could have been easily caught in some collateral damage potentially.
I was going to say, I might have been talking to you a couple of weeks ago. I mean,
yeah,
if that happened, who would have known?
Easily.
I got to talk about the challenges this season. So you were able to win immunity, but it happened under weird circumstances. So what it looked like to us, and maybe you can shed some light on this, is everyone just said, all right, Doug, you want immunity? You can have it. Is that really just what happened? You just said, hey, I would like immunity, and everyone just kind of I don't want to say you didn't earn it. You definitely earned it, but they just kind of decided, we're done.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was weird because we were there for, I think we're approaching an hour, and it was myself and Tanuki and Alani who were doing so well at that challenge, Chris and Lee. And then Lee dropped, and I heard Tanuki and Alani go, yes, he's dropped finally. So for them, it was sort of like a mission accomplished for them.
Yeah, he didn't win it.
And it was sort of like, well, girls, are we just going to keep doing this for another hour? What would you like? Should we just end it now? Can I have this? Because, I mean, I guess, Survivor, you don't have many chances to win a necklace. You maybe have 7 or 8 if you're lucky to play all of the individual immunity challenges. You might not get a chance to win a necklace. And I really wanted the necklace just for my Survivor CV. I'd found the first idol. Why not the first immunity necklace? So no ask and no receive, I guess, Fair enough.
I mean, you heard it here first. First immunity idol, first immunity, individual immunity win. That is resume builders right there for, if you call people to come back on, hit up my line. I also have to pull up the battles that you and Nathan had. So Nathan, this massive guy with all the muscles he had, you were the one to step up and be like, I want to go one-on-one with Nathan. And if you're not counting the individual immunities, I think even if you do count the individual immunities, you're 2-0 against Nathan, or 4-0, I think, if you count the 2 individual immunity challenges. So what was it like to go up against Nathan? Because you guys had some battles. There was one in particular. I remember you guys were fighting for a ball or a bag, and one of you suplexed. Were you on the back side of that, or were you on the
I fell onto Nathan's front. He was on the bottom, I guess. It was kind of
I'm still shocked no one got hurt from that, because so what was it like to go through those tough battles?
It was really tough, but from a game perspective, it was a win-win, because nobody expected me to beat this massive guy Nathan at these challenges. And certainly early on, if I could get one over Nathan then and prove I am, indispensable to the tribe, because you have to have someone battling this guy, it just buys me more time in the game to operate, I guess. And growing up, I played a lot of rugby, which is quite big here in the UK and Scotland. And I used to hit bags every weekend. I used to grab and wrestle for rugby balls. So they really did work to my strengths, I guess. But they were good fun. And, I won't forget those battles. I'm still sore from those battles, Randy, to be honest.
Was there any banter back and forth? After one of you beat the other one, was there ever I got you this time, you'll get me next? Anything like that?
Dude, I'm not Lee. But it's like it's kind of a gracious in victory, humble in defeat sort of thing, We shake hands, we move on, and it's a sign of sort of 2 warriors battling. You have a sort of mutual respect, I guess. And I thank him for bringing out the best in me. I needed him to really, really dig deep in some of those challenges. And also, I love fishing. Wrestling for fishing gear. I wasn't going to lose that. I love fishing. So, it was great fun.
So, Doug, just a couple more questions for you here. Being a Survivor fan, you said you're a huge fan of the Australian version of the show. You got to go through some incredible historic Survivor challenges. You got to find an idol. I just want to know, what was the most difficult thing about being out on the island itself? Was it the surviving? Was it being away from your family? Because we saw you guys got to get the notes from home. And we even saw the bigger guys like you, Nathan, and Lee, that really hit you guys when you got those letters. What was the most difficult thing about actually going out there and playing Survivor?
Yeah, it is a tough game. The conditions are tough, certainly. I mean, being away from your loved ones and your family is horrible. You have no contact. You remember that you have absolutely no contact with your closest, and you can't exactly pick up your phone and text them to ask if they're okay. So that was really tough. Another element of Survivor that I think I tend to forget about when I watch it is that every day gets a little bit harder. You aren't really eating or sleeping properly. And the longer that goes on, decisions become harder. Paranoia sort of ramps up a little bit. And, yeah, I think I lost about 15 kilograms out there. It was a hell of a lot of weight.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of weight, man. It gets tough. It gets real tough. But at the same time, every day was a blessing. It was just so much fun being out there and strategizing and thinking about your next move. And what a game. What a game, dude. It was
even on the Lanina tribe early on when you guys had all those supplies, it wasn't like living in Survivor glory.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that fruit was kind of crap after being in the sea, I guess. But my strategy going in, food and diet wise, was, I guess, kind of compared to like a bear going into hibernation. I tried to like accumulate as much fat as I could and try and live off that. So I think I was still living off my food before going in the game, certainly early on. But yeah, dude, you're not eating much, and sleeping on a bamboo bed is tough. I think the most sleep I got was maybe 3 hours a night, I think. It was tough, man. Yeah.
I can't even imagine like trying to get comfortable. I can't even. I still want to play, but I can't imagine. I mean, before we ask our final question, I do have to ask, what was the best reward of the season? What was one thing that you had that you're like, oh, it tastes amazing?
No, man, I literally only won one food reward, the whole thing, and that was
it the auction?
Oh no, the beer was good. Like, the beer was amazing. that was class. But my kind of only meal was the fish and chips just before I left. That was unbelievable, and chocolate milk as well. In terms of rewards and food, I actually didn't get too much, to be honest. But hey, that's Survivor for you.
Sometimes a bunch of people eat, and then the others are just kind of stuck to rice and beans for the duration of the game. Well, the last question we have to ask you, Doug, is, this is something we always ask. What are you going to take away from this experience as a whole? Because Survivor can be an incredible game where you come out with a family for life and memories that are going to stay with you. And then the second part of that question, are we going to see the Shire horse again? I'm patting that. I'm on the Shire horse train. Will you be back out there if you get the call?
Survivor was incredible, and even though I didn't win or didn't do as well as I would like, I'm coming away with 17 amazing friends, a Survivor family, and it was a pleasure to have played the game with those people. They're all winners, and they're all amazing in their own way, and you can't put a price on that, Randy, for sure. They were just amazing people, and I had a great time, and I'll give it another crack for sure.
You have to. That's the right. I was about to say, you better not say no, Doug, because we have to see you back out there.
Yeah, if it comes my way, then yeah, 100% I give another crack, because who wouldn't? It was amazing. It's the game that we all love, and there's a reason why it's been going for 45 seasons in America. It's amazing, and there's no set blueprint to win Survivor. It's just a game that can be won in so many ways, which makes it all the more fascinating.
Always is changing. That's the reason we love it. And we're not done viewing you for this season. You're going to be on the jury. We're going to see how it all plays out. But Doug, man, the honor has been mine. This is something I was looking forward to. I just didn't want to talk to you this early. I thought you were going to make it farther in the game, but they got you. But we'll keep that in mind for next time. Thank you so much for joining, Doug.
Take care, buddy.